All right. There's a couple ways that we can do this one. One thing that we could do is we could put each of these equations into our y equals on our calculator and then check out the table. So we would have y1 equals, now look carefully at how we're going to type this in. You would say parentheses -2 divided by 5 parentheses x plus parentheses 51 divided by 5. So you notice what I did here was that I put parentheses around any fractions. The reason why we do this is because your calculator needs to know that it's a fraction. So you have to put parentheses around it so you know it's a unit altogether. Alright, so then we do the next one and we see y1 equals parentheses -5 over 2x plus parentheses 51 over 2. Now we can keep going with that forever and ever and ever if we want. Okay, so that's one of our methods of doing that, and we check out, we go to second table, which is right above graph, and we'll see which one of these has when x is -2, y is 11. When x is 1, y is 3.5. When x is 4, y is -4. Another thing we could do is we could plug in each of these values. Okay, if we do -2/5 times -2 and then add 51/5, does that give us 11? And try each one of those out. So we can do that. Or, last but not least, we can figure out the slope, see which one of those matches, and then find the intercept from there. So that's the one that I'm going to show you in more detail. Alright, so for slope we need rise over run. The rise is in the y's, so let's see, how much did it rise to go from 11 to -4? And you'll notice I just skipped this middle one. The only reason is because there's a decimal in there, so it's just going to make it a little bit more difficult. So it went from 11 to -4, which is a down, so -15. And then it went from -2 to 4. That's the runs. That's an up, a positive, or I guess it's technically to the right, a positive 6. Okay, so -15 over 6. We could divide that in our calculator and do math fraction, or if you're good with fractions, like moi, you can divide the top and the bottom by 3. We get that it's -5 over 2. Alright, so it's one of these -5 over 2 ones, so we can get rid of this first one. And now we just have to figure out then what's the intercept. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put this little box here so you can see the section off part. We know it's always y equals mx plus b. That's the equation for a line. It's that slope-intercept form. In this case, we know, we just figured out that the slope is -5 over 2. Now remember, this should work. The b should always be the same for any x and any y that is on the table or on the graph. So we should be able to plug in any of these x and y's units or pairs and be able to solve for b. So let's try this 11 and -2. So we'll have 11 equals -5 over 2 times -2. Remember, we got those from here. There's that y, there's the x, plus b. Alright, the negatives here are going to cancel. And that's 2 over 1, or you can think of multiplying by 2. It cancels out when there's a 2 on the bottom. So we get 11 equals 5 plus b. So b must be 6. So we can subtract 5 from both sides just so we can make sure that that is true. Okay, 6 equals b. So that gives us C is our answer. Woohoo!